A reading from the Gospel of John. Then each of them went home while Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning he came again to the temple, and all the people came to him, and he sat down and began to teach them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who'd been caught in adultery, and making her stand before all of them, they said to him, "Teacher, this woman was caught in the very act of committing adultery. Now, in the law, Moses commanded us to stone such women. Now, what do you say?" They said this to test him, so that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his finger on the ground. And when they kept on questioning him, he straightened up and said to them, "Let anyone among you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." And once again, he bent down and wrote on the ground. When they heard it, they went away, one by one, beginning with the elders, and Jesus was left alone with the woman standing before him. Jesus straightened up and said to her, "Woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you?" And she said, "No one, sir." And Jesus said, "Neither do I condemn you. Go your way, and from now on do not sin again." This fascinating story, which many scholars say was not original to the Gospel of John, but still it's one that many of us know. It's a striking story. It's a startling story, partly because of the strangeness of Jesus' behavior. It's rather cryptic, right? He's bending down, he's writing in the dust. He says, "Those without sin cast the first stone," and again bends down to start writing in the dust. And no one can agree on what Jesus was writing. There are some who say that Jesus was perhaps writing down their names and their sins. He said, "If you're without sin, cast the first stone." And perhaps he was writing down the rap sheet that he was aware of in each of them, because Jesus did seem to know, especially in the Gospel of John, was very tuned in to what people were thinking and what they were all about, and had a certain kind of vision and perception. But whatever was going on with that, and I think the consensus is we don't know, Jesus is very clear on this point, that we do not, our job primarily is not to attend to reconciling the sin of others to God. That's the job for us to do for us. And his very simple, "Those of you who have all of your work completed may help this woman with hers. But until you've taken care of what you need to take care of, you need to go and attend to that and leave her to me." It's a very helpful image for us as we continue through this season of Lent. We're getting towards the end of it now. We're heading into the home stretch. Next week will be Holy Week. And we've done a lot of searching of our hearts, our souls, our minds, our spirits, our practices. And we can be getting a bit tired. So this is a timely reminder to us as we enter into this final week before Holy Week, for us to offer to God those things, those places in our life where we are still identifying that we can fall short of the glory of God from time to time. Not be tempted to turn our attention to those people over there, or as this text says, women like this. We need to keep our focus on ourselves, and certainly before we start doing anything as destructive as casting stones at other people, or even turning our attention to fixing them and those types of people, before we are actually right with God ourselves. And that's not just to spare the other person accountability. You'll notice that Jesus doesn't really exactly let her off the hook. He says, "Oh, seems like you have no accusers, but go now and sin no more." He doesn't say go right back to what you were doing. He says, go and you take care of your stuff too. Because what Jesus is really telling all of us, the people in this story and you and me, is that what we have control over, what we have knowledge of, what we have experience of, our own ways that we are falling short of the glory that God intends for us in the fullness of our human life, but also any places where we're missing the mark, where we're feeling separated from God or separated from community. Those are the places that Jesus wants us to focus our attention. So as we continue in this marathon of self-reflection and prayer and offering of ourselves in all the ways that we can, let us take this wonderful story as an encouragement for us to keep at it and to keep our focus on how we can draw closer to God. I hope that this is a fruitful meditation for you this day, and may God bless you and keep you this day and always. Amen.